Hello friends, I'm Simon Paul again and welcome to my discovery today. These are the top of the world's poorest nations, but I've only picked the top 5 of them. On our top list today is Liberia, which is number 5. The GDP per capita of Liberia is $454. Only 454, you can imagine that. This was caused by the second civil war that lasted in 1999 all the way through 2003. A quick look at the history will show that wars generally don't leave involved nations economically intact. As a result, Liberia is no exception to this, having just been a subject to a 14-year-long political conflict that not only ravaged lands but also needed to make use of Liberia's really finite resources. This made Liberia poor and reduced their GDP to 454. Number 4, it's Niger. Niger is a country located in the western part of Africa. The GDP per capita is 415. Not very far, not very different from the Liberia one. Niger aside from being one of the world's poorest, Niger stands as one of the world's most undeveloped nations across several categories. Although Although it continues to make developments in reducing infant mortality and enhancing education, the development category of poverty has unfortunately remained rather stagnant, keeping the nation's GDP per capita at $415.40. Niger's economy is driven by two main forces: the extraction of valuable natural resources available within the nation, including gold, uranium, and even oil, the small-scale agriculture. Unfortunately, both of these economic resources can easily be divested by random shifts in climate and weather, and thus Niger has struggled in developing themselves economically, making it poor and as it is right now. Going to our number 3 is Central African Republic. The GDP per capita is $333.20. You can imagine that least amount. Even if you are given, you cannot take a month with it. Okay, like Liberia, the Central African Republic has in the past been a victim to a war and Central African conflict, political instability. The landlocked Central African nation also supported very poor infrastructure, thus limiting the efficiency of the distribution of the nation's resources. Furthermore, this nation also shares similarities with most other African nations in that its economy is mostly directed by agriculture, although an estimated 45% of the Central African Republic's export revenues are from diamond. However, because of the poor infrastructure and governments that the nation has to deal with, only about 4% of the actual arable land that the nation holds is actually used. You can imagine that out of 45%, only 4 is used. Well, let's go to our number 2, which is Burundi. The GDP per capita of Burundi is $267.1. Oh, come on. That's a small amount. Okay. Burundi, having suffered from recurring violence and political disputes, it is no surprise that Burundi ranks as the second poorest nation in the world, even though the country is working tirelessly to rebuild itself. Aside from the estimated 300,000 civilians casualties resulting in a 67% poverty rate. Wow. The violent political liabilities were also determinal to Burundi's agriculture development. Even now, the nation ravaged by war holds very little farmable land, and any land that may be used for small-scale farming is still fragile due to the vulnerability to shifting climate and weather conditions. Oh. Well, Let's go to our top list, which is number 1 today. The world's poorest country. That is number 1. The world's poorest country. You can imagine the GDP. That's Malawi. The GDP per capita of Malawi is $226.5. I can't talk much about that. Malawi holding a population of 16 million. The population of the whole nation is 16 million. While also being one of the smallest African nations doesn't set you up for accumulation or distribution of wealth. Arguably the most undeveloped nation in the world. Malawi suffers generally in essentially all categories available. Access to education, general standard of healthcare, infrastructure, and quality of living conditions are all limited or substandard. Oh, come on. Because the nation is unable to develop in general, they are for all intents and purposes stuck with trying to derive their economic using only the most primitive levels of agriculture, with common weather variations as well as injuries and fatalities by poor health care. Malawi's world lowest GDP per capita of $226.5 doesn't seem like it will be rising too significantly anytime soon. Well, that's all for now, and thanks for watching. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave a comment there, or any question that you see, I will answer it for you. Good day. Thank you. I'm Simon Paul.